Here I am again, but I got my ball cap on. I'm more prestigious that way. All right, until this thing decides to take a damn dive for itself. You can see I'm working up here in this area. Why don't I grab a knife? I wouldn't want to use a palette knife, would I? Because I'm an asshole. Anyways, I'm working up here, laying the background, which is actually going to be water. When I'm done, I'm just trying to. I like to put some highlights in the background. Does that make sense? I like to put a little highlight in the background, and I will use the main color and leave some areas open to show off this beautiful lavender color. I think I'm being too stingy with my paint here. Better use it before I lose it. I'm being a big pansy with this brush. Alright, here comes Bob. The Bob Ross part of me's coming out now. Pound in this paint. Pound that in there. Yeah, baby. Pound that dang paint in there. Come on, Bobby. Woo! Woo! Here we see, I'm just pounding that paint into this brush. Then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to put some. Now see, the reason my paint don't go on like Bob's, because I ain't Bob, but one of the reasons my paint ain't going on there as well is he always paints wet on wet, and he uses a liquid white underneath it, and he's also using oil paints, and this here is acrylic, and it's, you can tell I went to this larger brush. This is a cut-in brush. It's 2-inch. It's cheap nylon Walmart brush. It's not anything that a real artist would probably use. But you know what? I paint for my health. I paint for my mindset, my think what's going on in me, medically, physically. I try to paint to make myself healthy. I've been having chronic pains for over 3 years now, and about the only thing that makes me not think of the pain or stop hurting is painting. So it's become painting, drawing, doing my styrofoam sculpting, you know, artistic things where you got to kind of halfway use your brain a little bit. When I sit around watching the boob tube, and I'm guilty of it, I do it a lot, but it's, you know, that's a brain stealer. It sucks your brain right out your head. I'm just doing X's on page. If this is the first time watching it, what I'm doing here is a painting about death and crossing the river Styx. And this is the Ferryman. Get his jacket a little with this lavender color, if it'll come off there. I think I may have got him still a little bit wet. Toss a little lavender in there. Kind of blend out those edges. Out here by his Bob Ross called his mighty staff. Boys, I don't know if Bob say that. Alright, now I blended that in. So I'm going to come back down here to use the same brush. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to grab some of this crimson, this red, bright red. I'm going to beat it into the brush just like I did the other. Beat it in there, beat it in there. I'm going to come down here into the foreground. And we'll start throwing some of that red in there. Now you see, when I painted this earlier, I put the back paint on it, or the first coat. I can't even talk today, I can't think of the words. The initial painting. Damn, I still can't think of the word. Back painting, that's what it's called. When I did that, I painted some areas pretty dark. You'll see like up in here. Come on, you damn thing. So as you see, it's kind of catching some of the dark is coming through the red paint there. Kind of cool. Gives it kind of a special back effect. Thus called back painting. Well, I'm not a paint instructor, that's for sure. I don't know why I'm talking so much today about Bob Ross. I couldn't hold a candle to that man. I'd hold it for him, but I couldn't hold it too. We'll come on up in here to the jacket, throw some little more color. I want to have this coat picking up a little bit of all the colors around. We'll just kind of do a little cross over here on these drawers. And this is all going to be, what we're going to have here is we got the skull here. We're going to have two bones coming out to the wrist bone, and then it's going to have the hand. Hand's going to be around the rod over here, the staff. There'll be the two bones going up. I'm going to cut this in and make it look a little more like a jacket. Then back in here, this will be black, and then you'll have some of the backbone and a few of the rib bones sticking out there, and maybe the back part of the hip bones popping through there. Up here in the foreground, got 4 little skulls here I'm going to put in. I may even do some more skulls and just make them kind of more obscured. Put a little more in there. We'll throw a little of this yellow on top of it. This yellow ochre. Do a little mix in here. Kind of a sick yellow look. Beat that in. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to throw some of that around up in here, in this area. And this is going to be more like a sandy area. Maybe a few bones here and there. And then right up in here, this here is going to end up being, it may come out further this way, but it's going to end up being the longboat that the ferryman uses to take you across the river. I'm going to put a little bit of this, we'll share a little of this up here too. Why the hell not? I'm trying to read down some of this red here with it too. Let's toss a touch of black. Darken that up a little bit now. Well, I touched it good too. A little more yellow. Trying to get a deep purple. That's a good band, by the way, deep purple. Well, see, I'm not liking that too much. Let me, maybe for some shadows down in here. Some of the dark areas and the shadows around these skulls. And this little fella here's got a big old shadow. This one here's got a nice shadow. Right here on the front of this bone, we're going to have a shadow. We're going to see it here. We'll have a little bit up in here. And of course, you know we're going to have the black up in this back part too. Alrighty, put a little more, get this spaced out here. One thing old Bob Ross teaches that I like is to let the paint take you where it wants to go sometimes, and let the painting decide what it has in it. And that's kind of a way that I like to do it too. I like to kind of use it as kind of like a meditation. If you listen to the wonderful podcast out there called Transgressions, or Transgression Podcast, it's with Minton 3, Dave Stapakis, and Damien Nichols every now and then. Great podcast, by the way. They talk about Minton talks a lot about how he finds inspiration for his paintings through meditation, and that got me thinking, you know, I don't do enough of that anymore. I used to do it a ton more than what I do now. But made me think, you know, hey, you're slacking. So I've been working on my meditation skills, and sometimes when I paint, and I don't do it to the degree that Minton does, or Dave's Pockets or anybody, but when I'm painting, I think some of the stuff I've seen in my meditation tends to come out. I did a painting not too long ago, a shadow person painting. I'm kind of big into the shadow people. And I did a shadow person painting not too long ago, and it was a total fluke. I started out, I was going to using a spray bottle with black. I take that back. I take that totally back. I was using a black acrylic paint, and I had mixed a big bottle up for an airbrush, and I grabbed the wrong damn paint. I grabbed that one instead, and I went out there and I was going to black out a painting, and I started throwing paint on it, and I realized, oh shit, that's that wet stuff. And instead of getting off my lazy ass and coming in the house, and this is when summer when we could actually do things, instead of getting off my lazy ass and coming in the house and grabbing the good paint, or the paint I needed, I just went with it. And next thing I know, this face pops out in the shadow, and I recognized it as one of the characters I ended up seeing in my meditation. So I said, fuck it, I just went with it. And it probably, you know, it's kind of just a weird looking painting to most people, but to me, it really, really was liberating to do that. And that's what this is all about. It's about sharing what's inside with the world. And that's an important thing. A lot of people don't even realize what painting's all about, you know, when it comes to that. Like I said, I've not been painting for that long, so I don't pretend to know everything there is to know about it. And right now you can see I've made a hell of a mess here on my palette. I'm real bad about saying screw it and mixing all the paints together to make a muddy color. And I just use that muddy color a lot. This one here is going to be more of a shadow backlit type thing. I'm going to put this brush down, get it down in my hand. Oh, I guess I can throw it under here. Alright, going back to my big brush. Beat that paint into that sucker. Go all over there. You know, I want to pull as much of this paint up as I can. I want, you know, that's why I leave my easels stay a little bit nasty sometimes, or they look nasty because the paint's dried on them. A lot of times I like to do that so I could actually pull up little pieces of paint from past palettes and use that as a tone for my paintings. Again, just trying to darken this up a little bit up here. Just crisscross strokes. Then I'm going to come in, get some more water on there. Monitor just went off on the computer, that's why it kind of darkened up in here. I don't want to get too wet because I want this to go on in a certain way. I want to cut. If you're a crafter, you'd be called, you know, basically dry brushing. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to drag that right along the edge of my palette, which will eventually be a line on my shirt. And I'm going to come in here and where I got, this is going to be a definite transition from the back part of the scenes. This is more of a transition plate. And I want to kind of pull that down. Not really trying to put any extra paint on this edge right now. I'm just pulling this down, pull it down, pull it down, pull it down. Don't cover up any of your skulls. Just pull it down, and brush it. Come in the front, foreground, and do basically the same thing. Come in here where that bone's going to stick out. Take this nice wet looking colors, cover up that red a little bit. Oh, that made that red pop right out there, didn't it? Give a whole new look to itself. Come over here, we'll just play with this a little bit. Putting that stuff in, you know. Can you see him? You see him starting to pop out here now? He's gonna be a looker. Well, as much as a skull can be, I guess. I'm gonna darken this up a little bit. I'll see where I'm giving some edge to him. Alright, I'm liking this. I'll come in a little bit more, scrape it off, dry brush it off. I'll come back in here with these fellers. We'll do a little bit back in here too. I don't want to get too serious in here. I don't want these skulls looking like they were stickers that came out onto this painting. I want it to look like they're buried in and whatnot. And I'm going to get it in here where this guy's pants are at. And his pants could just stay this color for an officer. Ain't that funny? I'm going to have a skeleton with pants on. It's going to be, and it's going to be marvelous. Marvelous. A little darkness in here. You know, there's going to be a whole lot of darkness back in this part. But I don't want to get it totally dark yet, because that's almost a little bit too much. I don't want to get totally dark back in there yet, because I want that to have all that white where the backbones and stuff stick out. Yeah, he's going to, and his coat's kind of back behind this. Or maybe it's not, because I just covered up that guy's head. Okay. Maybe his coat's coming down and just covered a little area of that skull. He's kind of coming out, and he's got his hand out, and he wants you to pay him some coins so you can cross that river. If you don't pay him the coins, you're stuck in limbo, dude. You're going to die like these fellas did. You're going to just be a big bone pile. So yeah, you gotta do it. You gotta have that. Have you done what you need to do in life to pay the ferryman? Do you possess the coins that it's going to take to cross the river? That's the question. I like to think that I have, but I ain't so sure. Maybe this is what I'm doing this for. Maybe this is a payment toward my trip across the river. I'm not looking forward to that trip now, mind you. Well, not right now. But you know what I think? When I think about life and death, if you sit there your entire life and you're afraid of dying, you're afraid of Judgment Day, you're afraid of all that, who wants to live your life afraid of everything? I've done that for a while now, you know. Since I've become disabled, I've lived my life just worried about everything, you know. Last year during the election process, I know I drove people nuts because I was anti-Trump, and I wasn't really a Hillary fan neither. More of a Bernie fan, but, you know, hey, there you go. But I drove myself crazy watching the news and worrying about all that shit that you can't do nothing about. Well, you know what? In my world, when I'm painting, it's all about what I care about. If I don't want this face there, I can black that out. If I don't want something in my painting, I can take that out of my painting. And you know what? That's kind of the way we need to look at life. If something ain't paying the rent to live in your head, the man told me this a long time ago. If they're not paying the rent to live in your head, don't let them be there. Don't let them be there. Very important lesson for life right there. I've had, you know, I get a lot of folks that contact me and ask me for advice and marital advice or relationship advice or just advice on cancer and some of the shit that I've dealt with over the years and stuff that I had no idea about. And what I always try to tell them is, you know, just what I just said, you know, you got to, if it ain't paying the rent to live in your head, don't let it stay there. Don't let it stay there. Because there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it anyway. Somebody decides to leave your life. Is it a relationship or something? That person's already made their mind up most of the time. The only thing stopping them going to do is just prolong the agony. I'm a hell of a person to talk about that. I've done that a lot. Man, I'm doing therapy on my own self right now. I've done that a lot. Well, folks, I'm going to let this dry up, see how she comes out. And then we're going to put in the water and start working on some of these foregrounds and high tones and all that. I'll probably pull out the old paint knife and scrape some of it off and decide where to go from there. So thank you for watching for the second session. Just for shits and giggles and all them other munchkins, I'm going to take this iPad and I'm going to flip it around if it'll let me. Well, you dirty bastard. Okay, then I'll just turn it around instead of using the back camera. And there's a little better picture of him. Yeah, he's still looking rough. I got a lot of fine detail work to do on him, and then I'm going to come back through and lay down the top layers, and I think I probably got another 1 or 2 layers I'm going to put on him before he's done. But as you can see, hopefully you can see what I see when I look at him. You can see the ferryman there in the background, and you got the foreground with the skulls and bones and the river behind him, the river that's building. So, okay, guys, thank you so much. I hope I didn't blind you when I turned that around for those lights. Thank you very much for watching. Tried to keep this, for the most part, horizontal so it'd take up the whole screen. Sometimes I forget and put it vertical, and then you get all the black lines beside me. Well, that's me. That's it for tonight. I think I'm going to call her quits for tonight now. It's almost 6 o'clock. Got to go take my shots, and yes, that is a bat above my shoulder. My house is pretty eclectic. It's kind of dirty right now. But I got some more paintings that I've been working on over there, and I got all kinds of stuff on the walls. That death mask I made out of styrofoam. The eye horse is styrofoam. All this stuff styrofoam. The lizard man, and I did a little drawing over there. And then here's my computer set up, 2 monitors and a TV up above. And so I'm not going to show you all the house because it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of a mess. We'll get her figured out. And I hope I didn't turn this damn thing upside down. All right, I love you much. You guys have a good one now. This is Larry saying, see you next time.